All right. Hello, hello, good afternoon. It's Monica from Life is Art, and this is the Saturday 3:30 p.m. demo at the Epic 90s birthday celebration online crop. And yes, I have my um, lights actually in the right spot. Wonderful, wonderful. I remembered this time to move my lights down. Gotta love it. And if you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're joining me later, you can just say replay. I see my mom is on. Hey, mom. And Robin's here too. Hello, hello. Hey, Deborah and Heather. And Robin's here. Robin, cleaning your whole house? Oh my goodness. I hope your hubby is feeling better soon. Strep throat is no fun, and good for you getting all that work done. Hey Janet, nice to see you're watching. So this afternoon we are going to be creating using the featured collection for the month of January from the January-February catalog with Close to My Heart. And this collection is called Let's Party, hence the theme for this month's crop. And it's a lovely bright collection with lots of beautiful stickers and not die cuts, acrylic shapes. We're going to be using some pattern paper, some cardstock, some stickers, some acrylics. We're also going to be using something from way back in the back of the catalog, and that is the balloon stencils. You can see them pictured here in this layout. So we're going to be using those balloon stencils. Now these are 12 by 12 inch stencils. And there's 3 different layers, the balloon, some patterns for some of the balloons, and then all the strings for the balloons. So lots of fun there. So that's what we're going to start with, actually, is having a go with our stencils. And so I'm going to bring in my all-purpose mat. Let's get this rolled out. Our all-purpose mat is a little bit dirty, but it keeps our work surface clean. And then we're also going to have a piece of white daisy cardstock to begin with. Now this is not the base for our layout. We're going to create some pattern to go on our layout. Alrighty, so these are the stencil set that you can get. They're the balloon stencils. Again, they're 12 by 12, 3 different stencils. So you can use whichever layers you want. Just going to scooch that package over there. So there's the first layer that has just the shape of the balloons. Then the second layer has some stripes and polka dots for some of the balloons, not all. They're going to leave some of them plain. And then the strings for the balloons. So we're going to start first with the shape of the balloon. Now, if you want your balloons just to be balloons and not have to worry about any of the strings or the decorative bits on the balloons, then you can do just the one layer. You could even stencil this several times in different colors and shift it around, flip it, do all sorts of fun things like that if you want to get different colors. And if you do light inking with the blending brushes, you can overlap some of them, and then it looks like the 2 colors are mingling. There's lots of things that you can do with a balloon stencil, but we're going to keep it simple for today. And the first thing I want to do, I'm going to bring in my little gripper here that holds it in place. I'm going to use my Jade ink. Now, if you wonder, if you wonder about my ink pads sometimes, let me just grab another one. I think this is actually the old style too. My ink pads for this year's colors have no label on them, and that's because these were sort of prototype ink pads when I was teaching at convention, and I haven't replaced them because, well, they're perfectly good ink pads. So if you ever wonder, I had to, do a little bit of labeling myself. Normally they come with labels on the ends, so I just took my Sharpie and labeled it as Jade. But I'm going to start out with the Jade because I like this nice dark color, and it's one of the coordinating colors for the Let's Party collection. I'm just lining my stencil up with the edge of my paper, so, where the edge of the stencil pattern is, because I'm going to just cut a piece of this paper. I actually don't need to ink all of it. I could if I wanted to, but for today I'm just going to ink the part that I need. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my blending brush, and I'm going to do some, not exactly light, but not full strength inking with my blending brush, because I'm going to do the Jade as my second layer as well. And I love using the blending brushes with stencils, and I find that I get nice ink coverage with them, and they get in all the little nooks and crannies of the stencils, more so than the foam. I like the foam for edge inking. If you think about the mini ink blending tools with the foams, they have different jobs in my books now that I have these. And I see a lot of people using these, and they hold this when they want to get more pressure, but because of the arthritis in my hands, I actually grip it like this, and I have my thumb kind of sitting on the top, and my fingers are just kind of holding it into place, and I find that's the most comfortable for me, as gripping it, kind of like, you know, a little kid with their spoon, except for my thumb is on top to give a little bit of downward pressure. So if you're like me and you have troubles with your hands, that might be a way that you might find it more comfortable to hold a blending brush. All right, so we're just working our way down, adding that lovely jade color to all our balloons. Now, if you don't like getting inky fingers, you may want to use a tissue or something to hold your stencil down, or a sticky note like that, because the ink sits on the surface. Now, when I'm all done, I'm not going to do it during the video here because we're busy creating, but when we're all done, I will just use my stamp chamois and my all-purpose mat, and I will just wipe off the excess ink and clean up my stencils. Because these are our water-based inks, they can sit on a stencil for a while before you need to, actually I don't need to close that yet, before you need to rush off and clean it. If I was using a permanent ink, good luck getting it off in the first place, but but you're not going to want to let it sit for a long time. It'll stain it. Some of the inks will stain them anyway, but it doesn't matter to me. It's a tool, it's for inking, and so it doesn't bother me if I get stains on there. It just means I used my products and I like them. Now for the second layer, we're just going to line it up, making sure that all of our little stripes and dots are on top of their respective little balloons here. And then we're going to go ahead and add the decorative elements. So we've got ones with polka dots and one with stripes. And I'm using the same color, just going over it again with the Jade. That adds another layer of the ink, and that makes it look much darker. And it's quick and easy. If you wanted to do different colors, you could do something like a really light pink and then come in with a blue, and you'd probably get sort of a purpley blend of the two colors as the decorative. You need to think about how the inks blend together when you do that, but that's a fun option, using two different colors, but I'm just keeping it all the same, samey, using the same color and just adding another layer of ink. Now the other thing I had thought of, I think my stencil shifted a bit because I didn't stick it down or anything, I'm just holding it in my hot little hand. You could take that first layer of stencil and actually draw, trace around your balloons if you like to have that nice black edge on it. Or you could do some little freehand doodling on top of this. You could use your white gel pen to add the little shiny spots. You know how balloons always have those little shiny spots where they're reflecting the light. So lots of different things that you could do. So that's the Jade ink. And then our last step is to bring in the strings for all the balloons. And we'll just line this up here like so. Get ourselves so that our strings are coming down from our balloons. And I'm going to do my strings in Bluebird because I think that's a nice color that coordinates with this collection. So I've got my Bluebird here, and I'm just going to come in with that. And this will be a little bit lighter. It's not the main event on this. It's the balloons that are the main event. And just stencil on all of those lovely little strings. Like so. Get a cramp in my hand. I love carpal tunnel. I guess that's a reason to use one of those methods of holding your things down. There's all sorts of things. There's sticky mats and washi tapes and you name it. Lots of ways to hold a stencil down. But I'm always in just a hurry to create, so I just ignore that. Robin's loving the green. Yes, the jade green is a really nice green. And you will understand when you see my photos why I'm going for green. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a game here while we're inking. I'm going to be doing pictures of one of my kids' birthdays. And sorry, brain freeze there for a second. You guys can guess which child's birthday I'm going to be having photos from if you want. So in the comments, we're focusing on green and blue and red and yellow in this. And we're also thinking about some famous turtles in the world or in the realm, and probably pretty big in the 80s and 90s. A quartet of famous turtles. And that was the theme for this party. Giving you lots of hints here. And you guys can guess which child's birthday I'm going to be scrapbooking. We'll see who's up on their 80s and 90s movie and TV trivia. Some red and green and blue and yellow and a quartet of famous turtles. Giving you lots of hints there. What kind of party and whose birthday it was. All right, so now I'm going to cut this down because I only need a bit of this for my layout. So I'm going to make a 2 1/4 inch strip. And I can see that I went and smeared my ink there. Because, that's as you do. That's okay. I moved things too quickly. There we go. So this is the piece I want for my layout. I think it looks super cool. I love that green too. And I love it. Heather's guessing the turtle party, and then later she clarified and said TMNT. And so if any of you know from the 80s and 90s what TMNT is, it is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course. And my mom says it's the child whose name starts with a J, which is kind of funny because all of my children's names start with J, just so I sound like a crazy person when I'm trying to remember who I'm trying to talk to. Because there are times when I'm just going, you're the one I want. Come over here. And, So for the base of my layout, I'm going to use a piece of Bluebird. And so, as a result of this layout, if you know any special people in your life who have had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle layout or party, just be aware that this pattern paper and collection works really well with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is awesome. All right, so we're starting out with a piece of Bluebird cardstock for our base, Then we're going to bring in a piece of the Jade cardstock. And I have cut this to 8 inches by 11 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and attach my piece of stenciled paper that I have created, my own pattern paper. How awesome is that? This is especially good, say you want to make party invitations or, you know, like loot bags or things for a party, and you want a specific color and you don't want to spend, you know, oodles of money going to the store and buying exactly what you want. You can create your own pattern and make as many sheets of it as you want, because you've got the stencil, we've got the tools, we've got the power to create. And yeah, so easy peasy. All right, we're going to add some adhesive on here. Wow, that adhesive came off really easy. Makes me think that the roll is coming to an end. And we're going to stick this on our page. So that piece of balloon paper that I created and stuck on there was 2 1/4 inches by 11. And then this is 8 by 11 1/4. And we're going to come, let me see, 2 inches in from the left side. And it'll be kind of centered top to bottom-ish. That's our hope. Anyway, so we'll stick that down. Looking good. And let me just check my video, because I can't see. One of these days, I will figure out, yep, we're doing good, how to see the comments and the video at the same time on my laptop. I'm feeling warm in my craft room right now, so I'm kind of having that moment. You know, that moment where you're like, whew, it's warm, you know, my own tropical vacation. Okay, so I have a piece of the Sundance yellow that has been cut to 1 1/4 by 11 3/4. And I want to dovetail the ends of this. We're going to create a fun little strip. So I'm going to snip in about 1/4 inch here. And then I'm going to come from the left corner to the top of my snip. And then from the right corner to the top of my snip. Going to turn it around, do the same thing on the other end, 1/4 inch in the center, and then from the corners to the top, just like that. And then I'm also going to be bringing in a piece of pattern paper from the Let's Party collection that has all these fun checkers on there. Now, it has all the TMNT colors on here, the red, the yellow, the green, the blue. It also has pink, which is not really a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle color, but it's a nice little contrasty one. And then some white. And this piece is, I didn't actually go for specific measurement. I just wanted 3 of the squares. So that's what I cut, which turns out to be 7/8 of an inch. And 11 3/4 inches long. And we're going to dovetail the ends of this as well. So nice little quarter snip. And then there we go. Other side. And then this end. Quarter snip. From one side to the other side. There we go. And we got to find all the little bits that have popped off. All right, now I want to layer these 2 pieces together, so I'm actually going to put them sideways, even though they're going to go on my layout vertically. It's easier for me to stick them together on the horizontal. Lovely sprinkles on the back of those little squares. There we go. And interestingly enough, this is the only piece of pattern paper that I'm using on this layout. So if you're ever thinking, oh my gosh, I have like nothing left to make a layout with, just remember, even one little strip of pattern paper can be enough. You just use the coordinating cardstocks, maybe something that's stenciled or stamped, and you can create a lovely layout. It's very thematic and works because all these colors go together so well. All right, so we're going to layer this on top of that green cardstock, and we're going to just ever so slightly overlap the stenciled pattern. Just ever so slightly. Like that much. And we got to make sure we're centered top to bottom. This is the part I find difficult because for me, I would normally turn it sideways so I can see. And you know what I see is one of my little scrap pieces from dovetailing got hidden in the pattern. There we go. Now I should mention that the inspiration for this layout came from a Pinterest post by Jana Eubank. And so thank you, Jana Eubank, for posting this layout so I could be inspired by it. Now, we're going to bring in some red because one of our Ninja Turtles, don't ask me which one, has a red mask. And I've cut this to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, but I'm not putting a 4 by 6 photo on it. I'm actually putting 2 smaller photos on it. And I like that technique of matting 2 smaller photos onto one mat and kind of tying them all together. So now if you look up here, for those of you who have been trying to guess which person in my house had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle party, yes, it would be Julia. So on the window here, we've got a little banner I made that says, "Happy birthday, Julia." And here I made great big Ninja Turtle close-up faces using poster board and markers, and drew and cut those out and glued them together. We got some green balloons, and that's where we got the inspiration for our green balloons. We've got some treats on the table. And for her party outside, we created a ninja training course. And so they had to start here, and they had to crawl through the box, and they had to go back and forth between some pylons. Then they had to crawl through this, and they had to throw some balls into this bucket, and then they had to come over here. And on the pavement, there was a ninja star throwing game where they had to throw into something that looked like a manhole cover. And then they had to jump over this box that was between these 2 chairs, and they had to do a little bit of thing with a hula hoop, and then they have to, you know, there was all sorts of little obstacles that they had to do on their ninja training course. And then we also had a game where they had to hunt for turtle eggs. And so we had got some of those, you know, nice little Easter eggs that were green. And we had got little things of slime or whatever you want to call it. And those were inside the eggs, and they were hidden in the gardens and all around the yard. So that was another game we did. We also did pin the pepperoni on the pizza. Yep, because we all know the Ninja Turtles love their pizza, right? So lots of fun, interesting games. Now, you won't see any people in these photos because I took these photos before the party started, and with my phone, I guess. And then during the party, we took photos with cameras, and I don't have access to those photos. So I have the photos that I have access to. So this is the layout for all the decorations and the games and everything. And then there will be separate layouts made another time for, you know, the actual party happenings, all the things that were going on at the party. So this one, we're going to go ahead and we'll stick it onto our layout like so. And I'm going to overlap a little bit on this nice colorful banner that we've got going vertically. I want to leave a little bit of space at the top. I'm just ever so slightly overlapping onto that little checkerboard, trying to make sure I'm a bit straight with the edge of the green cardstock there. There we go. Now, before we go too much farther, I want to pull out the sticker sheet and show you all the fun, colorful stickers on here. But the one that I'm looking at right now is the sticker borders down here. And I need one that will run along the edge of this green. And I probably should have done this before I stuck down the green. But there we go. I'm going to make just a little snip there to mark where my sticker border should end. And I'm just going to snip it while it's still on the sticker sheet and then peel it off. And this one is so cool because it's not just a straight sticker, it's actually a scallop border. So it's got the diagonal stripes with patterns and everything, and also the scallop edge. And I think that's super fun and gives it that sort of festive flair going on, right? Now, I have a few more photos that I want to add, and because this is just the single page, I'm going to probably create somewhat of a mirror page for the second one. And so that's where I'll put all the, the kids' photos and things. And so here we've got some cupcakes that we had for dessert. She wanted cupcakes instead of a big cake. And of course, we went to the bulk store and got those little Ninja Turtle faces to stick on top of our homemade cupcakes. Here's a close-up of those Ninja Turtle wall decorations that I made with the poster board. There's a lot you can get done with poster board and a marker. And then here we took a half of a watermelon and chopped it up to look like a turtle. And that was super fun. Julia was highly impressed by that. I'm not sure why she was quite so impressed, but she was quite enthralled with the watermelon turtle. So let's go ahead and stick these on. And these are small, and I have matted them on white daisy. These are about 2 inches for these two. And this one is a 2.5 inch photo. And there we go. I want this one to kind of go off the edge like that. Leave a little bit of our little start triangle there. And then let's add adhesive to these other two so we can kind of line them up and see where we're going to stick them. I'm not adding a lot of dimension to this layout, so I'm not using any foam tape or anything. So our little turtle is going to go like that, and then these guys are going to go like that. Yes. All right, so let's get this guy on first, and then we can add our fruit watermelon turtle last. And so this works out well because there's just sidewalk and grass in this portion of the photo. And even though this particular photo is larger, I'm trying to keep them all at the same height on the bottom, and you'll see why in a second. And if you notice, I have that banner in the window there, and when I was taking photos, I actually took a close-up shot of that banner. And so you know me, I had to print that out and get out my little scissors, and I actually fussy cut out the photo of the banner that says happy birthday. So we're creating our own embellishment to go on here from our photo. We eventually did get rid of the banner. She kept it for a long time. It was on the window for probably 2 months because she didn't want me to take it down. And then it was in the cupboard for probably 2 years. And finally we convinced her, we can probably get rid of that. If we need a happy birthday, we'll make another happy birthday. So she finally let me get rid of it. The Ninja Turtles, though, they were actually hung up along our stairs going to our upstairs for probably 6 months. And I think they eventually all fell down, and then we convinced her to let them go. But she was fascinated with the Ninja Turtles for probably a year. And even, going to the book fair at the school, she bought a Ninja Turtle book. And it's kind of weird because neither of the boys had any interest in Ninja Turtles. So it was just totally her. But yeah, so that's kind of fun where you can use your own photos. as an embellishment. Ooh, Heather's telling me there's a pink turtle later on in the series. That's cool. I did not know that. What's the name of the pink turtle? I'm probably not even gonna guess correctly all the names. I know they're all based on artists, which is kind of funny because Julie is so into art. There's like what, Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo. That sounds about right. So, yeah. All right. Now, when we did our stenciling, we had some other balloons here that that we stenciled. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and you know how it is with me. We're going to just pick a few of those and we're going to do a little fussy cutting. So don't worry if you stencil a little more than you need. There's always a way you can use them, right? So we're going to go ahead and cut out some balloons. And this is also a fun way to use this stencil is you can make these lovely embellishments. Let me just snip to the edge there. And it's going to be all matchy-matchy. And we'll just go all the way around and down the string like that. We're leaving a halo when we fussy cut. There we go. And let's get another one. Let's do a rough cut first. Let's get this guy here with the fun polka dots. He's kind of an elongated balloon. Looks a bit like our watermelon, our turtle watermelon. There we go. And all the way around. I forget what else we had. Obviously we had pizza. And we did pin the pepperoni on the pizza. And because the Mutant Ninja Turtles were famous for their love of pizza. So was the main thing. We probably had munchies, chips, that kind of thing. It was a while ago. I can't really remember. I can see that there's some like fruits or like cheese and crackers happening in the middle of the table there. And we'll go around this balloon. So we've got a plain one, a polka dotted one, and a stripy one, making a nice little cluster for an embellishment. But we're going to bulk it up a little bit with some stickers from the sticker sheet. And so let me just get around this last little end. I got so much extra paper hanging off there. It makes it a little bit difficult. There we go. Whew. Okay, so let's see. We're going to put this one up at the top, and then we'll have this guy. Maybe we're going to kind of tuck him under that photo there. And then this guy, we'll have to trim his tail a little to get him under, like that. And then from the sticker sheet, I want to grab this yellow and this red too. And I'm just going to kind of do a little I think we're going to tuck the red under there and put the yellow there, or maybe the opposite. Let me see. No, the red's going to go down there. Okay, so we need to stick our balloons down first. So on the carrier sheet, I've got this nice empty space where I took off a sticker earlier, and I can bring in my liquid glue to do this. In fact, I'm just thinking I could probably just lift and stick. So let me lift, put a little glue. Oh, no, it's wobbling. It's moving around. Do a little stick, lift, glue. Does anybody else do this lift and stick technique when you don't want to move it because you got it in a good spot? Just lift and stick. Yep, does work. Okay, and then let's bring in our big red one. We're going to tuck it under the edge there, and it'll kind of cover up some of those strings like that. And then our yellow one, we'll kind of tuck it under there like that. Under one and over one. Under and over. Okay, let's put a lid on that. And then up at the top, from the acrylic shapes for this collection, let me just see. I set them over here. You can get a package of fun acrylic shapes in the blue, the white, the black, the pink, and I've already used a few of them, but for this layout, I want to use the word party, because it's a party. And let's see if I can pick them up. Well, so far we're prying. Now we're parrying. There we go. Now it's a party. And the best way to stick down these is to use our glue dots. So let's grab, and these are the micro size glue dots. So they're 3 millimeters. They're just little, and they work great for this. So I'm going to start with the P, and I'm going to add probably 3 glue dots per letter, just like that. And stick it down. See if we can keep them straight-ish. Coming in with the A. There we go. I don't need to squish them too close together. Just got to get them on there. R. When you wish you were a good speller, so you don't mess up your letters. P-A-R-T. And this probably only needs 2. And then the last one, Y. And because we have that nice red photo mat there, we have a nice line to follow. And we also have an upper line with the edge of the green cardstock. So that always helps, because sometimes I say, you know, if you're going to go wonky, then just go wonky on purpose and start out wonky. But when you have nice lines to follow, it helps to keep everything going nice and straight. Always put your glue dots back in the box, because they tend to go everywhere, and then it just becomes the whole thing. They stick to everything, and that can be problematic. So now to add a little bit of embellishment, we've got some black and white dots here. And I'm also going to take another look at the sticker sheet. I was thinking about this party time as a sticker to put on there. We've also got birthday girl, but that makes more sense to go on a photo of her. So let's grab this party time, which is also in the pink, which is nice to bring in something else. And even though this says party, we're going to do party time below it. It's okay. We can do it. And we've got some nice embellishing here. I'm thinking down here of maybe putting this blue star just on the edge there of the banner, like that. Nice little blue star. And we could also do a yellow star and a green star. Make a nice little group of stars, like that, and like that. Full stars. And that's looking good. Okay, so let's see. I like the idea of the white dots, but the black is also nice because we've got a little bit of dark around the outline of these, because when I actually took the photo of this close up, it was the night before, so this window was all dark. So we've got dark in behind, which actually worked for outlining them, using them in this way as an embellishment. But we might want to bring a little bit of black in somewhere else. So I'm thinking, you know what, dots or stars? I think maybe we'll go with the dots and add some dots up here by the title, like that. And we can add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's add a couple dots in here. Maybe put one right on there and one up here, like that. Yeah, that's looking good. And then maybe we'll put a couple stars down here with our stars. One there. And a little one up there. There we go. We've got our kind of 3 little clusters going on there. We like our odd numbers. We like our triangles. And so there we go. We have created our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle party layout. We need to remove the adhesive that we added to the back so that we can put it in our album. So just bring in the rub and remove eraser and just work your way across, and we'll roll that adhesive right up. And no more stick. So we started out with our White Daisy cardstock, doing that beautiful balloon stenciling using colors that match the Jade and the Bluebird. Then we added on our base page in that beautiful Bluebird color and the fun zip strip or border sticker from the sticker sheet that adds a nice little bit of color along there in breaking up the blue and the greens. And of course, we've got those same colors in the check along here. We've got our shine from our acrylic pieces spelling out party, as well as those black dots. Then, of course, a little pop of red here to bring in the red color. So we can map those 2 photos together. We stayed with white for these ones down here, just so that it wasn't too much in your face. And then, of course, fussy cutting out that banner from our photo to create a little bit of a subtitle on there. Some fun cut out extra balloons from our stenciling. And there we have it, a lovely layout. Now, I do have some journaling to add to this. And so I will do that later on, but that is our finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing those stencils and thinking about all the ideas in which they could be used. And I feel inspired, and if you decide to create a layout similar to this one, just take a picture of it and pop it in the comments below where I post this on the event page. And thank you once again to Jana Eubank, who posted this similar layout on Facebook and gave me some inspiration. All right, have a wonderful rest of the afternoon, and we will see you again soon. Toodaloo, don't forget, at 7 o'clock tonight, we have our chat and craft session. See you then. Bye.